So the first word of today is called winter, ukiok, or ukiok, which means the coldest part of the year. The next word that I'm going to be sharing is snow, apuchi. But there are different types of words for snow. This is snowing. When the snow is falling, it's called Inuktitut. When the snow is drifting on the ground, it's windy. It's not too windy, but there's enough wind that a little bit of snow is being carried away, and that's called drifting snow, or Nashaooraitook. One of the things that a lot of the people that are from up there used to live in igloos, which is a house made out of snow. Igloo. Next word is frozen. Kikirok. In some of the dialect, you can say kikayok, but it means the same thing. The ending of the sound is a little bit different. Extreme cold, when the weather is very cold and like minus 40 or minus 50, then it's called dialectal. Next one is blowing snow. When the winds are very strong and it's like a blizzard, but it's also can be called blowing snow. Pichektok. In a different part of the territory, it also can be called piksiktok. So instead of an H, where I come from, it would use an S. Pichektok or piksiktok. Sleds. A lot of times, the only way to travel in the past was through a dog team, and you were being pulled on a sled. So the word for sled is kamuti. And you're traveling in the cold weather, and the lake or the ice or the frozen ocean is called hiku. Like I said, in a different dialect, it also can be called siku instead of hiku. But where I come from, we call it hiku. Next one is deep snow. Let's say you're walking out on the tundra and you're walking in deep snow. We call that Nashaooraitook. Another, basically an opposite word for that is light snow, or snow that's not so deep. There's a little bit of snow, but not as much as the other one. Aputikito. And like I said, in the Arctic, where we come from, the word for Arctic is now Inuktitut. The meaning, literal translation, meaning one that can become winter. Another word is the outer parka of let's say a caribou skin. If you are hunting and everything out in the land, then you would need some warm clothing. The outer part of the parka, which is made out of caribou skin, is called kulitchak. Traditionally, you had an inner lining made out of caribou skin as well. That's called achigi. So that could be made out of caribou skin, but the fur of the skin is facing the inside of the person, where this one, the fur is facing the outside, the elements. Kulitchak is facing the elements, the outer part of the parka. And we are almost in January. And the word for January is called Hikinnout. Because of where I come from, there is no sun during the winter time, no sunlight. So when January comes, the sun is returning, so meaning the sun is back. Iqinnaut. In the middle of the winter, you're in an igloo, and it's like minus 50 degrees outside, but inside the igloo, you have, let's say, minus 5 degrees because of the temperature of the people that are living in it, as well as seal oil lamp, which is used to heat up the igloo, as well as boil like tea or hot water for any kind of survival needs. Seal oil lamp is called a qulliq. Qulliq. So those are some of the words that I used that are known by the Inuit people. The next word I'm going to use is scarf. As you know, it gets really cold and everything. As a child, I used a scarf when I played outside. Inuktitut is what we use to call it, or what we call it. Inuktitut, which means goes around the neck. Mitt. We need mitts to go outside in order to play or hunt or anything that we need to do. It's pualuk. Pualuk. Sometimes we have gloves in order to be outside because mitt is too bulky sometimes and doesn't give you much freedom. So a word for glove is argak. Argak. And as you know, it's minus 40 or colder sometimes. And when you're outside in that type of temperature, you can shiver because it's so cold. It's called Inuktitut. Inuktitut. There's different types of snow depending on the time of year or the drifting of the snow or anything like that. The best type of snow that someone may want to use to make an igloo is called aqilluqayak. Aqilluqayak. This word I got from my brother, which means it's not as hard, but it's not completely soft that you can go right through it. This type of snow keeps you more insulated compared to other types of snow, and it stays together as well very nicely. Another one, there's snows that are, there's snow drifts. Some have different types of drifting. Some of them, at the end of it, there's like a point. So snow drift with a point is qahyuqlak. Qahyuqlak. There could be another type of snow drift that doesn't have a point on it, just depending on how the drift is made. It's called uluangnait. Uluangnait. Those are the winter words that I have that have been I've heard as a child and growing up in Nashaooraitook, like I say, in Nunavut. And these are the words that are used in the Inuktitut dialect where I come from. But some other words could have a totally different sound, or may not even sound exactly like the way I say them, just because it's of the dialect. Like I said, one of them is like C is with an S, but in where I come from, I use he. Like hila is outside, like the weather, not the weather outside, but outside. But in other words, another person will call it sila, the sky, or yes, the sky. So these are some of the words that are used, and they can be totally different sounding depending on where you come from. Thank you.